S1E6 heroes. Unsung heroes. S1E6 heroes. Unsung heroes. S1E6 heroes.
Welcome to another episode of Unsung Heroes, a podcast done by Smile Foundation Kenya. In this edition, we have welcomed a guest. He has come from far. These people have been in the market for a while and they have done it. They have done it for the street families. Sit back, relax and listen to this story. Mr. Francis, karibu sana. Tuambie mnatoka wapi? Mulianza aje, imekuwa aje?
Sisi naweza sema tumetoka mbali.
Yes.
We have come from far. As a charity, I work with the Moving Mountain organization. It's a NGO registered with NGO Council of Kenya.
Yes.
We work with street families and also we work with schools.
Yes.
My name is Francis Kioni. I'm a board member and I'm also the treasurer of the charity. As is a charity that we have a tour company
Yes.
called Adventure Alternative, which we usually say it's responsible tourism, where we give back to the community.
Okay. So the tour farm ama organization ndio inachangisha pesa ya Moving Mountains.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how we started the charity, we started it we have our founder who is from UK.
Okay.
His name is Gavin Bate. He's the founder of the Moving Mountain Charity, and also he's the managing director of Adventure Alternative UK. So when he started bringing students from UK, they started coming to Kenya through the Scout movement. So we started working with them. Initially, I was working with the Scout. So I was working as a project coordinator with the Scouts.
Okay.
And that is how now he came and I was introduced to Gavin.
Yes.
When he started bringing foreigner students from UK, he started, there was a program we were running with the Scout movement.
Yes.
We used to call it Extension Scouting,
Okay.
which we used to nickname it Sisi kwa Sisi. The scouts who used to come were mostly from streets of different towns in Kenya. We used to have street family from Embu, from Nyeri, from Machakos, from Mombasa, from Siaya, from Luanda, that is Vihiga. And they would come and we would have a big camp at the scout headquarters.
Wapi? Hapa Kibera.
Kibera. So we would have a big camp and we would bring all the street children and they would enjoy the camping. You know, scouting it's a youth organization that usually help the kids with life skills.
True.
But unfortunately for the kids from the poor background, they can't afford to pay for their camping fee, buy uniform, pay for badges, and all the other activities they were unable to do. So through the initiative of Gavin Bate coming in, bringing clients from UK to come and have an experience in Kenya, part of the profit of Adventure Alternative would cater for these kids to join in.
The expenses
Would be covered by Adventure Alternative. And that is how now the kids would enjoy the scouting activity with no pay. So they would be bought uniform, blankets, sleeping bags, mattresses, and even they would take those home. And that is how we started.
by doing that, Mr. Francis, at some point, was it successful enough to take the street kids or the street families from the streets, this activity, the scouting activity?
With the scouting activity, I would recall one such case.
Mm-hmm.
One of the street boys, I found him sniffing glue. And I went to him and told him, why are you sniffing glue within the scout camp? He was a bit rude, but I understood him. I didn't take him the way
you'd normally.
He told me, the only thing you are doing different, it's only you are serving us food in a human way. I've never slept hungry. I would scavenge from the dustbin and I would not sleep hungry.
Whoa.
This time round, you are doing something special to me because you are serving me on a plate, you are giving me a spoon. That is the only thing now you are doing different from what, but I've never slept hungry. So that is when I realized, there is a big problem in these kids, not just thinking that food would change their
lives.
It is the way you serve them, the way you treat them, the way you handle them. That is now the starting point.
Okay.
So with the time, after the camp, we decided we wanted to know where they come from. And we started visiting different parts. We visited Siaya, that is Western Kenya. We visited Siaya and Vihiga. Bondo, those sites we visited. We saw where they come from. We visited Embu, we visited Nyeri. We went as far as Mombasa, we went to Miritini. We went to Machakos, and we saw the situation. Now the biggest challenge was we wanted to see where would they be schooling within their reach. And how do we take them back? So with the Adventure Alternative, the founder of, the managing director of Adventure Alternative decided, because initially we used to work with the scout and the scout activity were only within the scout camp. Now we have reached out to the children. How do we work with them? How do we help them? That is how now the Moving Mountain was now conceived.
Okay.
And that is how now we started the Moving Mountain. And him being a mountaineer, most of his fundraising, he was doing his fundraising
by climbing mountains,
taking people up Everest. He have done Everest 5 times.
Have you been a part of the team that has
I've done Mount Kenya more than, even I've lost count of how many times I've done Mount Kenya.
No.
I've lost count.
You can share the experience.
I've done Mount Kenya up to Point Lenana. More times taking clients, taking those students who are now raising money for the Adventure Alternative to have funds that now would serve as funds to help us with the Moving Mountain activities.
Usually, how long does it take before you first plan to do the climbing until when you actually do it? And how long does it take from below the mountain until up the mountain? And what character, what dress code, what mental state do you need to have? Because you don't just climb a mountain because you want. Usually
climbing the mountain, it's quite a challenge. And that is why we came with the name Moving Mountains. It's a tough challenge. You need to learn much. We usually do first aid. We have to do first aid courses. You have to know much of the geography of the country, of the mountain, the vegetation, and the rest.
Okay.
So doing Mount Kenya, usually as a company, we usually organize an itinerary which would take, depending on which would suit a group, depending on the number. If it's a big school group, we usually encourage them to do a 5-day climb, which is because we need a 1-day acclimatization day near the peak. But for a good climber, even you can do it in 24 hours. Me and one of my colleague, Gilbert, we did it in less than 24 hours. We did a Mount Kenya challenge, doing a fundraiser, because there was that time that the organization and the company had no clients during the COVID year.
Yes.
We did not have clients.
Yes.
So we had challenge of feeding the street children in Embu.
So you had to fundraise.
We had to think of ways of fundraising.
Yes.
Our first challenge was to try and do a 24-hour challenge. We were successful. We went up from the gate all the way to the summit and back in less than 24 hours. That was a tough challenge, and we did it. And when the time of COVID went further and it took a bit for our clients to resume,
yes,
we decided now to reach out to our clients, friends, and we decided to do Summit to Sea Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
We went up Mount Kenya carrying our bicycles, and we cycled all the way down from Point Lenana to Malindi Marine Park.
How long did that take?
6 days.
Every day, but in between kuna mali mnapumzikia?
Our first challenge was from the mountain all the way down to after the summit we had to sleep in Narumoro.
Okay.
Then from Narumoro, our first stop was Embu. Embu, we went to Kitui. Kitui to Kibwezi.
Which is on the other side.
Yeah, we wanted to avoid the Mombasa road because of the heavy traffic.
Yes.
So we used the Kitui road. So from Embu to Kitui, Kitui to Kibwezi, Kibwezi to Manyani Gate. And we took the challenge was even more challenging because we had to cycle through Savon East National Park through the Manitas of Savo. But luckily we had a group of rangers who were on our guard. We cycled through the park all the way to Salagate. We spent a night camp at the Salagate, then from Salagate all the way to Marine Park. And we were able to raise funds for our charity.
For moving mountains.
For moving mountains.
Yes.
So the kids in Embu during COVID, and you know now during COVID even the number would increase. And the biggest challenge, the serving of kids, you know, like you serve them all together. We had even bigger challenges because you had to buy packages because now you have to have packed lunch. You have to have containers. True. And you know it's that extra cost. You know when you have just the plate, you just give them plates and it's done. But here we had now to incur extra cost of buying containers to give them food, containers, so that you give them and they go. You give them because there was that now.
I remember that time everyone was, there was no work.
Yeah.
There was a call to stay at home. So I know even during that time, you people were serving not just the street families, it was even other families.
It was that we were serving even other families. It was quite challenging. But luckily our friends in UK, in Canada, were able to sponsor our challenge. Yes. And we were able to feed them.
Oh. Since you have been in the foundation for a long time, what would you tell that person who wants to do the same or start a foundation to answer to the same problems?
The biggest challenge we are having, we can't meet all the kids. You can't help everybody. We have a belief. There was a story that is usually told of a person who was walking along the beach.
Yes.
He found the starfish were all washed on the shore. So he started picking one and throwing it back to the sea.
Yes.
And somebody was laughing at him, saying, "What are you doing? You can't be able to take all the starfish back to the sea."
Yes.
But the answer he gave was, you can change that life of that one starfish. So to us, it's changing that life of that one child. We can't help all the children, but we are helping that one child. But we need to come all together. We need other stakeholders. We need other people to come in and help these children. Okay. The challenges in the country are massive.
True.
And I would say, through the experience, the many years I've worked, being a person who have been brought up, raised and born in the slums of Nairobi. I grew up in the slums of Kibera.
Okay.
I've gone through the challenges don't stop. You know, with the urban migration, people coming from rural area looking for work, their first point of stop is in the slums. That is where they get cheap housing.
True.
And at some point they come and things become hard to a point now they even abandon their children. These street children are not just, they don't happen to be in the street. There are so many circumstances that bring children into the street. There are those, they have lost their parents. There are those who have been mistreated by their step-parents.
Yes.
So there are those who have nobody to look for. There are those who are brought up by mental retarded parents.
Yes.
So there are cases, the cases will still continue growing. So we need a lot of people to come in and help with the situation.
Can we say from your experience, since you have had a similar experience with the people you have come to help, can we say that moving mountains has been your unsung hero?
I would say moving mountain has been my unsung hero, together with the founder.
Oh, yeah.
I usually say the story of Gavin started, he was walking after coming to Nairobi. He decided to walk to Nairobi just on the street.
Yes.
And one of the boys was trying to pickpocket him. So when the boy was trying to pickpocket him, he grabbed the hand.
Yes.
And asked him, what is your problem? He said he wants food. Because now he was scared. He said, I want food. I'm hungry. But his intention was to pickpocket the Mzungu.
The Mzungu, yeah.
Do you know what Gavin did? He said, I will take you to the hotel. I'm going to have my lunch. So he told the boy, let us go. And he was going to have lunch at Hilton.
That was many years ago.
That was 1997 there, 97, 96.
Yes.
When he was taking the boy to Hilton, the security would not allow that boy to get into the Hilton hotel.
Because of how a street boy would look like.
Yeah. But Gavin insisted. I'm the one paying for his lunch. He requested for food. I won't give him what I'm not eating. He will eat where I'm eating. And that is where he now started interacting with the street children. And with that example, we started, it was easier for us. Working with Gavin and we started now seeing the bigger picture. You could see the challenge. And when, you know, that boy was, in his mind was just thinking of pickpocketing a Mzungu. But now he ended up becoming a friend to the Mzungu.
It became an opportunity.
And now he was taken back to school, to Mudhurwa Primary. That is why I said we usually do projects in school to partner with schools in a way that we can now be able to get where we can get our children. Our first school was Mudhurwa Primary School.
Okay.
Our first work was to renovate the school, repaint the classroom, fix all the window panes, and buy some few lockers and desks. So when we provided the furniture, we started building a relation with the head teacher.
Yourselves and the school.
Yeah. And that is where now we started taking back these street children from Nairobi to Mudhurwa Primary.
Okay.
And we started, and even some of them, they were sleeping in the school. The headmistress agreed to allow them because they were initially in the street. They would put the sleeping bags and the mattresses we had bought them during the scout camp. They would put them somewhere, and they would, after classes,
they would use the
classroom as their sleeping area.
Okay.
Before now, we came with an idea of renting some homes within Shaurimoyo, and we started integrating them to their parents because they would have their families within that area.
True.
And there are those who came from as far as Kayole. There are those who came as far as from Dondora. And we started working with them and taking them back to their families.
I know helping is good, and at some point I'm thinking if you can help this street boy or girl and the situation home is very bad.
Yeah.
Once they report that there's someone who has taken care of my education and my food, how have you been able to handle other parents coming into the same kind of help that you have accorded to their children? Because, of course, if they were able to take care of these kids, they would not end up in the streets. It also means that their parents are struggling at some point. Have you come to that level where you will now not just help the children, but also the family as well?
Depending on the resources we used to get, there were times we were able to get more clients in our company, to a company. And the more clients we got, and the more students that came to Kenya, it became even we would get more resources.
True.
And we usually say, I would first say, when you bring the students from the UK students to Kenya, you know, most of the people think that when the students come, they come to help our children. But we realize it's give and take. When they come to Kenya, they go back a changed lot.
They come to learn.
They learn a lot.
Yes.
It reached a point when there was a family from Wales that booked a safari with our company to come and see what is this magic you are giving to our children. Their children were nagging, requesting for things.
Of course, from Wales.
From Wales, they were sort of spoiled lads. But when they came to Africa, just 1 month with us, when they went back, they were responsible.
It was enough therapy.
Yeah, so they had changed.
Yes.
So to us, we realized it's like working with them, bringing the street children in the camp together with these Western students. It was give and take to everybody.
True.
Because they were learning a lot.
Yes.
You know, they use their washing machine. They have the dishwashers.
Yes.
They cook with gases and all this. In the camp, we tell them you have to cook with firewood. You have to make your own fire. You have to wash your clothes.
You have to bend.
You have to bend, wash your clothes. You have to wash the dishes.
Yes.
You have even to shower. We didn't have showers. We would give them basin and they would wash, which is, to them, is something that they were not used to.
Yes.
I remember there was a case we took children to Siaya. And one of them, Mzungu, said he would not be eating because he have never used a long drop.
Pit latrine.
Pit latrine.
Yes.
He have never used a long drop.
So eventually?
We had now to take him to every evening to a hotel where he would be taken to a proper toilet. But with time, those are the people who came back, and it became a continuous thing that students from Wales, every year we would have groups coming. Because when this goes back, the parents, they stay the story, and it became now every year we would have from Wales.
True.
And we would take them up the mountain, take them on safari to Masai Mara, to Savo, to Samburu. They would climb Mount Kenya. And even with time, we would take even the street children up the mountain. Most of the street children who we have worked with have submitted Mount Kenya. Because we wanted to show them, where do we raise money that helps you? So with time, we were able to meet some of the problems with many children, but we could not serve everybody. It's not possible to serve everybody. So it reached a point where we would have criteria of picking who, because of limited resources.
True.
You can't say you will help everybody.
True.
Yeah.
Can you say that the activity has brought you a regret or happiness, or what has it given to you in your years of serving?
Me, as a person who have worked with the charity, you can't believe now I'm celebrating my 60th year. And I'm still doing Mount Kenya. I'm a guide by profession.
Which I have never done.
Yeah. And even I'm taking even people who live down lower Mount Kenya and they have not done the summit. I'm even taking very Soon I'm taking a few policemen from Narumoro up the mountain. So I would say I've learned a lot. I've settled. I've taken all my children up the mountain. I've shown them where dad gets his bread. And I would say I'm also a beneficiary of moving mountain in one way or the other.
True. I like your story. Your story is so encouraging. And I'd like to tell our viewers, a story brings out an experience that can be an answer to the one who is suffering. What is your experience? What is your experience? You have heard Francis saying and sharing his experience. Bring that experience. For more experience, log on to our social media pages. I have been your host, Robert Ogola. That has been our edition. We thank you so much, Mr. Francis. I know you will come again. Let's meet on the next episode. Thank you.
Asante sana.
Unsung heroes.